Hello everyone. We hit 2,000 subs on YouTube and I've been putting this video off. I'm sorry it took me so long to make. I've been doing so many videos lately. My shorts channel has a video come out every day now, and on my main Twitch channel I try to stream at least 6 out of 7 days of the week. I've been usually taking off Wednesday to record things like this. But we hit 2,000 subs on YouTube, and I needed to do another Ask Sumatchi video as a reward to all of you guys for all of your questions that you've been asking in my Discord server, to answer all of those curious questions that you guys have and let you in on a little bit more about me. But we can go ahead and get that started right now. Again, thank you guys for all of your support so far. I'm going to continue to try to do as much as I can. I've been ramping everything up. I've been learning After Effects to try to get better at editing. But let's go ahead and get started into the questions for today. Alright, so the first one is from Lawrence, who asks, for Pop 1, what's your way to practice weapons, climbing, building, just overall mechanics for the game? So for Population 1, I actually tend to not do any outside of streaming practices. If I'm on the game, I'm probably streaming. I barely do any playing of that game offline. For accuracy of weapons, if I'm running through a place like Defiance and want to practice it a little bit, I'll shoot out the individual windows and the doorways. And doing practice like this helps it so it doesn't feel like you're just stuck in the training grounds doing everything that they have to offer. You can actually continue to play the game and just kind of work on things. For guns, if you want to practice with a specific gun, you need to just tie yourself down to that gun. If you see it, you have to pick it up. Doesn't matter what star it is. Doesn't matter what the situation is. If you have to use an op at close range, I guess you're going to have to figure out how to use an op at close range. Things like that. Climbing, not a lot of climbing changes in the past 8 months. Once you kind of figure out the fast way to do that, that's pretty set. I'd say something that I still need to work on is 1v1s. Again, I don't do practice rooms or anything, so getting the practice for that is a little bit harder overall, but that's how I practice the majority of the stuff in the game. Alright, so JT Dobbins asks, what got you into Pop 1? So what got me into Population 1 was actually the founder of Vortex. His name is Crack J. He is the person that created the team itself. He's on the Pavlov team. He plays Vale with us, and he's played Pop 1, and I believe he won the first ever Population 1 tourney. It was like a solos kill farm tourney, but he won it. He got a headset stand for it. It was all the way back last November. But he got me into the game. He was curious if I was going to buy it. He let me know that it was coming out and convinced me to buy it. I actually show the messages in the anniversary video on my YouTube. If you guys feel like checking that out, it's a good video. Shows a recap over the past year, but he's the one who got me into it, and I've been playing ever since then. The game before it that I was playing the most was Pavlov, and that's just because I needed a competitive shooter. I'm a very competitive person. Ghost asks, what game do you think would translate, what classic game do you think would translate into VR well? I'm trying to think of older games that might be good. They did Resident Evil. What would translate well into VR? Horror has a really good way of translating into VR. Dead Space. Give me Dead Space. Make a Dead Space game for VR. That's what you need. Dead Space in VR. I'm going to break my headset playing it. Dead Space VR. East Coast Havoc asks, overall, what is your favorite game of the year alone other than Pop 1? And or what do you mostly like to do other than play VR and stream? So, the VR game that I'd endorse other than Pop 1 for this year, VR Chat's good for socializing. Pistol Whip's good. Workout. I'm trying to think of all the other VR games I've played. Larcenauts was okay, but very bumpy. The one that I'd say I endorse for this year, other than Pop 1. Into the Radius. I'd say Into the Radius would be my other game, other than Pop 1. It's kind of like a Tarkov mixed with Stalker. I always describe it as Tarkov mixed with Death Stranding because of the way the monsters work. But the inventory system and the looting systems like Tarkov, it actually just got an update at the beginning of November that kind of remade the whole game. But if you guys like Tarkov and you like it's a single player game, which is the reason I don't play it a lot. Honestly, I spend all of my time in multiplayer games if I can help it, just because there's so much content that you can make from them, and because it always feels fresh, because there's always that human element that you're interacting with. But I'd say that Into the Radius would be the game that I'd recommend. It's a horror game. You try to survive, try to figure out stuff about the world. Story-driven. Got the Tarkov loot stuff. If you die, you lose your stuff. You have to get back to your body to be able to recover it. Kind of like Dark Souls, I guess, because Tarkov, it's gone for good. But it's very good. I recommend you guys check it out if you haven't heard of it. East Coast Havoc also asks, what do you mostly like to do other than play VR and stream? I used to go dancing every once in a while. I actually went to like a swing and blues place, and I really like swing dancing. But I don't do anything anymore other than VR and stream. And I usually am streaming VR. My days now consist of waking up, video editing, streaming, stopping the stream, making clips out of the video, trying to socialize a little bit, and then going to bed, and then waking up and do it again. If I'm awake, I'm probably trying to do something content related, either TikTok, YouTube, second YouTube channel, which I do have a shorts channel as well. Try to post on that every day. There's just so many things that I try to do that there's not a lot of time that I have for other stuff. So this is pretty much it. KOS Future asks how many hours to get level 60. So for me, I believe it was like 868, if I remember right. Most of the people that I've heard, I think WatchU got it pretty early comparatively to everybody else. But everybody that I know gets it sometime between like 900 and 1200 hours, or like 850 and 1200 hours. Some amount of time in that time frame is usually when people get their gold PJ. It can be influenced because they do double XP on Thursdays and things like that. So if you decide to play on certain days, that could help you get it a bit faster. Also, there's a lot of people that spend a lot of time in custom lobbies, and you can't get XP in custom lobbies. So those people, they're going to have a little bit more hours, and it's not going to quite count towards that. Holy Hamburger says, favorite color. So it is the light blue, the electric blue. That's my favorite color. It is the colors on Entropy, which is the Robo Wolf. It is the colors that I try to be using the most, just because it's a very cool color. Very, very energetic. Counteracts my monotone voice. I try to look cool so that I don't have to do all of the talking with my voice. Attacked by Wolves asks, when do I think I will be promoted to an Arby's Master? I don't want to talk about this. It's a very sensitive subject. But I have multiple times considered downloading the Youngling mod for Beat Saber to take out my anger before. Alan asks dual revolvers. I say definitely. Pistol Whip, the parts that you got to use the dual revolvers in the campaign were definitely some of the most fun. Pavlov, the dual revolvers are great. I just wish they had like one more bullet in the chamber. And Pop 1 has the Revo, which is really nice, but I just wish the flick reload worked 100% of the time, because sometimes it glitches out and makes me really mad. But I really like revolvers overall. Revolvers are really good. I don't really like any other Western or old-timey guns other than revolvers. Revolvers are just really, really cool. Owo does not exist says, patty or no patty on a burger? 2 patties. Hello? First Run Tanker asks, skin or no skin on a burger? Let's Tan in Japan says, for Pop 1, what do you think are the best qualities for someone to have when they're queuing with randos? So I was actually considering making a whole YouTube video about this and how to solo queue, like just a video on how to solo queue, because a lot of people do struggle with it. But I'd say the best qualities to have are patience, communication. You got to be able to work with your team and tell them, especially if you have played the game a bunch, the matchmaking in the game will try to place you with players that might not have played a lot. So you have to be able to talk to them, try to help them out whenever you can. Having that leadership ability, but also the way to, the patience to deal with them. And then when it comes down to actually fighting, knowing where to position. So being around your team, because even if they're not hitting the enemy, they're soaking bullets. So even like a meat shield or something. Knowing where to position, and then ability to clutch. So things like the sword, super huge. People will push you 1v, technically 3v1, but they'll push in the building one at a time, and you'll just be able to take them out. Mechanics like that, or the DT, things that you can, do super high burst damage are really important. Other than that, something like the Opera, you can just keep your distance. It's going to come down to the game and what your other teammates are good at, so make sure you're communicating. Let's tan into Japan. Asks, how many licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? I will let you know when I get there. It's been licking for... I do 1 lick every day. I have a Tootsie Pop, I keep it, store it, 1 lick a day. Burntfish44 asks, what do you think VR as a whole is missing? Personally, I think VR is missing some AAA title that's multiplayer. Medal of Honor, I think, is now out on the Quest, which means that people can get that. I'm not sure if it's still considered the same level of AAA that the one that came out in January was. I've heard good things about it, but it needs some game to get people hyped and come through to it. I've mentioned this before as well. We need some form of motion stabilization or some camera view that people that don't have VR aren't going to get sick watching. Going back and even watching some of my montage videos, or even just streams, the amount that people's heads shake when they're moving around, you can't tell what's going on. They might be able to tell what's going on, but they got a microwave strapped to their face. And then on top of that, like, it kind of makes you want to vomit. Like, even if you don't get motion sick, it's so hard to follow stuff, and usually streams are capped at like 60 frames per second. It's very rough. Usually less than that. Usually they're at 30. But it's very rough. We need ways for viewers to be able to watch and interact and stay involved and not feel like they're going to get sick. I know a lot of people are trying to stream and they might not have the computer or know exactly how to do it, and that's a huge thing because people go to their stream, check out VR for a second, be like, yeah, that looks like trash, I can't even tell what's going on. But like VR chat, like this, I'm able to talk to a camera, the camera's not moving, you guys aren't getting sick. You might be getting sick of listening to me, or you might be like, furries are weird. But other than that, like, you're not getting sick of the camera itself or the movement per se. Burntfish44 asks if you could be given the best skills in the world for any game, which game would it be and why would it be? Roblox? You already answered your question there. I don't need to proceed farther. Outside of Roblox, I would want it to be... trying to think what's like the most mechanically intensive game. Maybe like something like Super Smash Bros. Melee or something, because those games are just nutty in terms of the amount of things that you need to do per second and how precise you need to be, that having those skills and that like precision would translate really well to other stuff. Also the mind games. Smash is a very good mind game. Chess is like kind of a similar way as well, where you can like force people to play exactly how you want to play, so you don't even have to play population 1, they're playing your game. Something like Smash could be really good for that. If it was just a game randomly that I wanted to be good at, I'd say it's StarCraft, because I am absolute garbage at StarCraft, and I feel like having that skill could level out my gaming expertise. Burntfish44 asks, what's your favorite spooky game of all time? I would say Hellblade VR, and the reason that I'd say that, it's not like an exceptionally horror game, it's more like a psychological horror game. Anybody that hasn't played that game, I definitely go recommend. There is a normal Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, and then there's a Hellblade VR, which is essentially the same game, but you have the ability to play with the VR headset on. I think I even played through the game with a controller instead of keyboard and mouse. So plug in a PlayStation controller, play through that game. But it is very, very mentally, like, Into the Radius has scared me, and I've gotten jump scared, and there's been stuff that I've been like, oh, that's horrifying. But man, Hellblade VR, it had that like psychological element of, I went and laid down afterwards and I was like, it's one of my favorite games of all times. I don't like horror stuff, but it's one of my favorite games just because of the way that it made you like think, and you're like, huh. The game itself was created by a group of psychologists and medical professionals, and the point of the game was to simulate what it's like to go through psychosis. So if you guys are interested in that and you want to know any more about that, go check out that game. I definitely recommend it. It's great. Burntfish44 asks, what's my favorite drink of all time? I'd say that my favorite drink of all time is not a Jaeger bomb. I'd probably rank the Jaeger bomb pretty low. But favorite drink of all time... probably Mountain Dew Voltage. Blue raspberry soda. It's like the only blue raspberry soda that I know of, and it's delicious. Blue raspberry anything is usually very, very, very good. Burntfish44 says, which game needs a sequel badly? Titanfall in VR. Titanfall VR. Make it happen. Exogrim23 says, what gets you the most excited for the future of humanity? I would say, personally, technology and how fast it's moving. And it's really hard to keep up with how fast it's moving. Like, there's such a big disparity between like technology that's coming out and people that understand it, and kids catch on things instantly. But seeing that, like, how quick technology is moving, it's very exciting, and I'm excited to see where that goes. Exogrim23 says, if you could relive any day in your life, which day would it be? I don't think I have any favorite days. I don't think I could think of a specific day that I'd want to relive. A lot of them are very samey for my dissociation and my derealization, depersonalization. There's not a specific day that I don't think I'd want to relive. Thanksgiving's always nice because you have the ability to, see family and leftovers. Leftovers are great. But there's not necessarily like a favorite day that I'd say. Voice asks if I have any stories from the furry bar scene. There's nothing crazy. People usually go there. There's a photo shoot of like all the furries that are there. People play air hockey in their fursuits and nobody can see anything, and people usually can't even grab the puck because their paws can't, they don't have very good ways of grabbing. But there's nothing crazy that's happened really at the bar scene. It's just people drinking and then everybody goes home. I'm trying to think if there's any crazy story. I saw a protogen. There's a protogen at my bar, and they have like a working visor, and that's real cool. Frigg asks if I would rather fight 100 Lurf-sized crumpets or 100 crumpet-sized Lurfs. Probably the crumpet-sized Lurfs, because Lurf-sized crumpets would take me a long time to fight. I don't got that type of time. Gray asks if I can Fortnite dance. No, I can't. Arky asks, what is my favorite type of cookie? I'd say Subway chocolate chip cookies. The like softness of the Subway cookies are just really good. They get it just right. Barky asks, what is my favorite type of blizzard? I assume they're referring to Dairy Queen and not snow, because snow, it is just any type that I'm alive is pretty nice. But for Dairy Queen, my favorite type, I usually get cookie dough and M&Ms mixed in. Sometimes I do like brownie and cookie dough. It depends how much, brownies can be kind of big sometimes, so usually cookie dough regardless though. All right, Attacked by Wolves has said, besides full body tracking, what's the feature that I'd want to see most in a VR headset? I'd say probably foveated rendering. Personally, I'd want eye tracking to be incorporated in a VR game or a VR headset, because I think that would be a really cool feature. You don't realize how expressive eyes are or how much it like actually does in a game like VR Chat or other games until you see someone use it, or like a mouth tracker. I think those features would be really cool. But other than that, foveated rendering, if you guys don't know what that is, it makes it so if a headset has eye tracking, it can detect where your eyes are looking, and it can focus that part of the headset, and the other part can be not rendered quite as high resolution, which means it saves the headset power. It can run, stuff at higher resolution, higher frame rate, because the headset's not working as hard. First Run Tanker says, now that you have reached quite the followers, do you plan to get more? I'd say that I hope to reach more. I'm not sure. If the content blows up, that would be awesome. VR really needs to get off the ground before it'll be easier for VR content creators to do stuff other than, VR Chat and Beat Saber. Those are going to be the two main games, especially with camera stabilization and the way that cameras work. We really need a better way to be able to capture VR content in general. But I do plan to continue to make content and hopefully grow with you guys as well. And hopefully I can impress you guys with learning skills and anything that I figure out how to do better, like editing. MoVR said, why did you start VR and VR streaming? So the main reason was, this was in my other video, I got VR initially so I could play Elite Dangerous because I wanted a flight sim. And when I was a child and even now, I would love anything that would allow me to fly a spaceship. Not just like a standard spaceship, but like a fighter spaceship, like an X-Wing or something. And Elite Dangerous was a game that allowed me to do that. VR streaming was something that I realized wasn't very huge and could be tapped into, and the main issue there being you need a really, really good computer to stream it at good quality. So I, at that moment, had just built a PC, and I had the ability to at least do that for Pavlov to a point. So that's what I was doing. I got an Oculus. I had a Rift S for a while. Before then, I had the other Oculus, and then I upgraded to an Index from there. But all of them, I've been able to do the streaming and try to provide good quality content as good as I can. And that is all of the questions, guys. Thanks for tuning into this video. I know it was a little bit different for you, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, learned a little bit more about me. We might do another one of these for another goal in the future, so make sure you guys check out the Discord server. Leave some comments down below and let me know what you think. Was anything massively surprising? Do you have any other questions that might be easily answered? What are your thoughts on this? Do you guys like these type of videos? Let me know. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks again for the 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's amazing. Thanks for the 1,000 on the Shorts channel already. That's nuts to me, and I really appreciate all of your guys' support, and I hope to see you around.